everyone. This is Sibel Edmonds. In this episode, I'm going to talk about material support for terrorism and U.S. foreign aid as a means to provide financial, aka material support to terrorism. Specifically, I'm going to present ongoing U.S. foreign aid in billions of dollars sent to a nation recognized as a state sponsor of terrorism. The Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act of 1996 amended 18 U.S.C. 2339A and expanded its list of terrorist-type offenses. The statute aimed at reaching those persons who provide material support to terrorists, knowing that such support will be used to commit terrorism. The amended section removed the requirement that the supplier also have whatever specific intent the perpetrator of the actual terrorist act must have. In June 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the broad application of a federal law making it a crime to provide material support to foreign terrorist organizations, FTOs. Under this law, individuals face up to 15 years in prison for providing material support to FDOs, even if their work is intended to promote peaceful, lawful objectives. Well, this standard should cut both ways. That is, if we had a bit more application of justice and a tad less of hypocrisy. What do I mean by having this cut both ways? Terrorism is not limited to individuals, groups, organizations. It includes nation-states. A bunch of ego-driven scholars or a few anal-retentive political analysts may want to split hairs as to whether or not state-sponsored terrorism constitutes terrorism. But hey, since 2002, their elected presidents have been accusing nations of being terrorist nations or axis of evil, so for this, I'm going to go with that. State terrorism refers to acts of terrorism conducted by a state against a foreign state or people. Based on this definition, and based on what the puppet Supreme Court recently ruled on what constitutes material support to terrorism, our government, those who have sanctioned U.S. foreign aid to nations inflicting terror and violence, should be brought to trial. With that in mind, let's talk about Pakistan. Let's talk about Pakistan and state-sponsored terrorism, shall we? Within many circles in the United States, whether media, academic, or even governmental, Pakistan has been recognized and characterized as a state sponsoring terrorism for decades. Here is the U.S. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta on Pakistan's status as a state sponsoring terrorism. It's not only the United States. France has also publicly recognized Pakistan as a terrorist state. Same goes for Canada. Canada and its allies must take a united front against Pakistan because it is a state sponsor of terrorism that threatens world security, says Citizenship and Immigration Minister Chris Alexander. Alexander, a former ambassador to Afghanistan, said the fight against the Taliban and groups like Al-Qaeda will never be won in Afghanistan alone because it is a cross-border conflict supported by the Pakistan government. According to an analysis published by Brookings Institution, Pakistan is the world's most active sponsor of terrorist groups, aiding groups that pose a direct threat to the United States. Former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of United States, Mike Mullen, described the terrorist Haqqani network as the veritable arm of Pakistan's ISI, that is, Pakistan's intelligence agency. Mullen said the country's main intelligence agency, ISI, was supporting the Haqqani network, who are blamed for an assault on the U.S. Embassy in Kabul in September 2011, and also the September 2011 NATO truck bombing, which injured 77 coalition soldiers and killed 5 Afghan civilians. Now, let's discuss billions of dollars given to Pakistan by the U.S. government via both military and economic aid packages. Here is the data up to 2011. In total, the United States obligated nearly $67 billion to Pakistan between 1951 and 2011. We have tripled our economic and development-related aid to Pakistan, $7.5 billion over 5 years. Yeah, that takes care of the specific financial support in billions of dollars provided by our government to a state sponsoring terrorism. But that's not all. According to our government, we provide not only billions of dollars, but all sorts of other material support to Pakistan. Expertise in energy, financial and investment expertise, technical expertise, military training, you name it. Okay, let me repeat again. Our government, using our tax dollars, is providing financial and other material support to Pakistan. Pakistan is a nation that has been recognized and is designated as a sponsor of terrorism. Thus, the U.S. government and those officials and civil servants involved with USAID should be held criminally liable and prosecuted for sustaining designated terrorists via providing financial and other material support to a state that sponsors those designated terrorists. Think about it, and then let me know what you think. Shouldn't those in our government who sanction and grant billions of your tax dollars to a state that sponsors terrorism be held criminally liable? Well, I don't know about you, but according to the United States Supreme Court, and based on United States federal laws, the answer should be a definitive yes. This is Sibel Edmonds. I'll be back with more soon.